Charles Hoskinson just talked about buying part of or all of one of DCG's companies, and it's one of their large companies that you've probably heard of. It's really well known. We're going to talk about that. We're going to play some of the video where he explains what he could do with the company. You have to make your own decision, though. Do you think this is a smart decision? Let me know in the comment section if you want them to be able to buy this company or not. And then also, we have some other stuff to cover, including FTX possibly being restarted and some other news in the crypto market. So if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, I appreciate that. That way you can get this content as quickly as possible. There's also a link to the Patreon underneath the video in case you want to see exactly when I buy and sell, get updates every single day, and get early access. I just filmed a video on how to set up a Trezor wallet. So in case you want to get that early, you can check out the Patreon. Now, let's get over to crypto because we're starting to see a little bit of green. After we heard about the DOJ yesterday busting Bitslago, we saw a little bit of fear when that was happening, and since then we've recovered a little bit. Really just happening in the last hour or so, last couple hours. We're back over 21,000, which is fantastic. The SPY is also up, or S&P 500 is up a little bit, but you can see we've been just rejected by this trend line. So macro, maybe we're still looking at a little bit of an S&P drop here, which probably would force crypto down a little bit, but we have been working against the S&P 500. You can see it's moved up a little bit, but not nearly as much as Bitcoin, and not for as long as Bitcoin either. So overall, looking pretty strong. Probably a healthy pullback to just under 21,000 after we moved up 30 or 40% from the bottom. It's not terrible to see a little bit of a pullback and some sideways action before making a next move. Now, yesterday, we talked about one of the reasons the market might be falling a little bit is because of possibly DCG trying to sell some cryptos. And now it looks like they're possibly selling CoinDesk. So one of their companies that they own is CoinDesk, the large crypto news outlet. And Charles Hoskinson, who runs Cardano, basically is talking about why they might want to buy CoinDesk. So let's play this here for a second.
The failure of DCG, it looks like they're starting to shell off assets. And something that came by my desk recently is that CoinDesk is either raising money or attempting to actually get acquired. So I've been through the grapevine talking to people, looking into things and trying to figure out what the price is. And it looks like the price is probably going to be hovering somewhere around $200 million if somebody was just go and buy the thing outright, or at least that's what they're asserting they're worth. Now, I haven't seen any books or financials, but I've been hearing that gross profit was hovering somewhere around 50 million. So it'd be interesting to see what the EBITDA is and what the ratios are, as well as the projections that they have. Is that a 2021 number and everything was in the cocaine and hookers era and we're making great money? And what does 2022 look like? And last 3 years, 5 years. Interestingly enough, DCG acquired the asset in 2016 for 500,000. So, 400x over acquisition is pretty interesting balls for evaluation. Now, why am I interested in an asset like this? CoinDesk or Cointelegraph or anything. Actually, for years, I've thought about what would make an elite media institution and what are some of the things required. As you know, we've been a recipient of some extremely bad media, some just because they didn't take the time to really research and deeply get into things, and some because there was actually an agenda to defame. So we find out a little later on that FTX gave the block a large sum of money or agents of that organization to write articles in a certain direction. Cointelegraph is actually owned by an oligarch, and there's some shady stuff there. And everybody wants to basically have a media outlet and use that as a way to express influence in the space. Okay, so our chain is great and this other chain is bad. My interest on the media side is actually more broad in that I would like to figure out how to get to journalistic integrity again. You've probably seen, if you've watched my whiteboard videos and you've seen me talk in AMAs over the years, things like veracity bonds or other concepts where when someone publishes something, the thing that they publish, they actually put money on the table. And if it turns out the thing that they've written isn't true or it's inaccurate, they actually can lose the money that they've bonded for it.
Now he goes a little bit longer. He got another 10 minutes talking about some of the pros and cons to buying CoinDesk and what that would mean some people might think that whatever they publish as positive on Cardano is jaded. He does go through some other ideas that he has as well, including having a specific section where each of, let's say, the top 50 or top 100 cryptos can do an update. Someone can make an update once or twice a month, and it'll be obvious that it's coming from the projects, but that way it's all in one centralized area. I think whatever we can do to decentralize news a little bit and make it a little bit less biased, I think would be great for people just to be able to trust the news a little bit more. I mean, right now, the most trustworthy news to me is Twitter. When I see people that I know and people that have produced really good content in the past continue to make that content, and they're doing it without a hidden agenda. If we could do that in cryptocurrency, I think that would be really beneficial as well. With some of these websites, they take sponsorships or they allow people to write their own articles. Now, if Charles Hoskinson does buy this, of course, you're going to have to pay attention to what they say about Cardano, because it might come from a place that's a little bit more pro Cardano than con Cardano, if without a better way of saying that. I think we do have to pay attention and make sure that they continue to stay unbiased. But at this point, he says that the valuation seems to be a little bit too high, but he wants to get more numbers. He says they could buy it, but again, you don't want to necessarily spend all the money that you have because rich people stay rich for taking good deals. They don't stay rich by buying everything that comes across their table. So we'll have to see what happens on this, but it seems like they are trying to unload this entity pretty quickly. Now, keep in mind that they might be selling cryptos as well, as we talked about last night. They may be selling other parts of their business and other companies. It seems like they're really trying to hold on to Grayscale right now because that is a cash cow for them. But we'll have to see what comes out of this. And it sounds like Genesis is going to declare bankruptcy some point this week or this next week. So keep this on your radar. We also got news that FTX official CEO John Ray III may restart the exchange. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. In his first interview since taking over FTX in November, Mr. Ray said that he has set up a task force to explore restarting FTX.com, the company's main international exchange. Although top FTX executives have been accused of criminal misconduct, some customers have praised its technology and suggested that there will be value in rebooting the platform, he said. To be honest, this is quite unbelievable that they would suggest going and restarting a company that has stolen so much money from investors. And I'm sure that they're going to try to make some claims that, hey, some of the profit or all the profit we will send back to individuals. But I think at this point we should just let it burn. I think that it's more likely that it takes more money from people than gives it back. So I would not touch this. If the exchange comes back, I would fight against it, talk against it, some of the risks, and then I would never use it either. So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video, and let me know your thoughts on Charles Hoskinson possibly buying part of CoinDesk. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.